And in the postmortem of Super Bowl 58, when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, I will just say this. If I had told you going into the weekend that the 49ers were going to lose this game, would you have said the reason why would have because Brock Purdy didn't meet the moment? Yeah. If I asked 10 people that, right, or 100 people that, what would be the percentage of people who would say it's because Purdy didn't meet the moment, it was too big for him, and so on and so forth?
I don't know, 4 to 5, probably.
4 out of 5, right? It would be about 80%.
Yeah, something. It'd be high.
Guess what? He was terrific. He was terrific.
Terrific. Terrific is strong.
Chris,
terrific is strong.
Terrific.
He played good enough to win the game, but not quite good enough. Dude, he did the exact same thing that Garoppolo did.
No,
he had Debo for a touchdown and overthrew him.
Here's what I will say about that. That, yes, he was open. Mahomes missed a ton of throws last night, too. And the thing is, both defenses were so on point last night.
They were hitting.
And they were not just hitting, they were covering.
Yeah.
They were covering. And I guarantee you that all 22 crews that are out there over the next 24 to 48 hours will be talking about how remarkable the cornerbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs are, and how Debo was getting jammed, and Ayuk and Debo had what, like 5 catches for 1 yard at one point combined in the third
dropped
quarter.
A couple over the middle, too.
And so again, Purdy was thrown into some tight windows, and you have to tip the cap to the Chiefs' defense. Leo Chanel knocked the ball loose from McCaffrey when it looked like the Niners were steamrolling towards points to start the game. He also blocked the extra point. Chris Jones, a free-running Chris Jones right up the middle, will force an incomplete pass on any quarterback, including his own. And that's what happened on the 3rd and 4 in overtime that led to a settling field goal to start overtime that we all know the Chiefs cashed in to win it. Purdy was under duress. Purdy made an incredible throw that got called back due to a hold because he was breaking contain to his left, and he kept the play alive. He threw it to a wide-open Kittle on the opposite side of the field.
That was early in the game,
He also made a stutter step move going to his right, juked out a defender, and Juszczyk was open and had a Dez caught it moment. Mm-hmm. If you remember, he caught it and then put the ball out and hit the ground, and you thought, well, that's an incomplete pass. No, because they changed that rule.
Yeah. Plus, he was already out of bounds by the time the ball popped out.
Juszczyk made a heck of a play, but so did the quarterback. Yeah. This dude was taking it in the chops. The throw he made to Jennings. The throw he made to Kittle. They put the ball in Purdy's hands on 4th and 3. Instead of going for the game-time field goal, they're like, Purdy, make the throw to Kittle. He did.
He's a good player. He got him exactly where Jimmy G took him.
I think that's unfair, but that's your opinion, and I think a lot of people will share it. I think that's an unfair opinion. I just think that the Chiefs' defense is championship quality, and Purdy held more than just his own. In his first career Super Bowl start, he came out on point in that first drive. On point. He was comfortable. He looked, by the way, easily his best game of the playoffs. Yeah. Easily the best game of the playoffs in the Super Bowl. So you gotta, tip your cap on that 3rd down. If the Niners had anything back, could take anything back, they could take a lot back. But one was the 3rd down coming out of the 2-minute warning at the end of regulation. If they had picked up that 1st down, the Chiefs had only 2 timeouts left. They would have burned them. And then the Niners could have taken it down to about $120. And then there would have been the real play call of Shanahan's life. Like, what do you do on 3rd down after you've caused the Chiefs to burn both of those timeouts? Or do you throw it when you know the Chiefs are going to have to burn timeouts? I mean, that's where they had the Chiefs dead to rights. They were able to play call their way and execute their way into a situation where they come out of the 2-minute warning, and this thing was theirs. They could have done exactly to the Chiefs what the Chiefs did to the Eagles last year, which is take it down to the nub and leave them with no time left after a field goal and win the Super Bowl. Now, I understand the Chiefs had the benefit of a defensive penalty to help them out in it, but maybe so could the Niners have had it too. They got a defensive penalty to give them a fresh set of downs in overtime, didn't they? But instead, I mean, you got to tip your cap to Spagnuolo. He sends Trent McDuffie wide open at Purdy, and that thing was dead from snap. And the Chiefs now had 2 timeouts and just a 3-point deficit left, and they damn near won it in regulation at the end also. And then there's this. Is it Purdy's fault? This is what's going to really hurt the Niners, and I get it. This is not Purdy's fault at all, but this one came across my my desk just moments ago here from NFL Network Research. The Chiefs trailed 42 minutes and 5 seconds in the game. The only team that won the Super Bowl that trailed longer was the Super Bowl 17 Washington team against Miami. They trailed 42 minutes and 57 seconds in that game before winning. The Chiefs, in overtime, became the first team in Super Bowl history to win after trailing 4 separate times in the game. 4. The only other team to win a playoff game in which they trailed 4 more times in the last 10 postseasons was also the Chiefs. You know when that was? This year's playoffs. That's what happens when you have Mahomes, who's now 9-2 in games in which he's trailed in the playoffs at least by 7 or more points. Everyone else, as I've told you last week, is under 500 in their careers in such situations. But the one thing that would kill him, if I had told you, what if I told you, as San Francisco 49er fans, would you have signed for this one? The Chiefs would start Super Bowl 58. Punt, red zone, fumble, punt, field goal. That's your first half possessions. Sign for it, right?
Absolutely.
Then the second half possessions, interception, punt, field goal, punt. You signed for that too, right?
Yep.
Problem is that second punt was the muff punt.
Yep.
And once that happened, Chiefs scored a touchdown. They finished up their following possessions. Their 5 final possessions was punt and then get it back on a muff. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. Changed the whole game.
Right.
That's not Purdy's fault. Now, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. Hold on a minute.
Chances.
Hold on a minute. Though, as I keep returning, the early part of the third quarter is when you needed to have these body blows and then staggering hits.
They should have been up by so much where the muff punt really wouldn't have mattered.
So, is it play calling? Is it Purdy? I don't know. I'm not an all-22 guy. All I know is I'm sitting in the end zone watching this game in person, and I'm like, this kid is tough. And, man, does he make throws. Does he make throws?
Bottom line is he's better than 30 other quarterbacks in this league today.
His season was unreal.
But the one...
And he did not shrink in that moment last night. He did not.
If I'm a Niners fan, I'm happy with him. I would think so.
Would you? Look, I'll just point it out. Look, by the way, this and he already has the blame it on me post game approach. This is what he had to say after Super Bowl 58.
When you have a good offense like the Chiefs do, and what Mahomes can do, for us, it's like, all right, we have to, score touchdowns, and we had opportunities to do so. I think. Shot ourselves in the foot with, just penalties and the operations and stuff. So I got to be better in terms of, leading the guys and just, I think how I handle things in the huddle and telling them, what to expect, stuff like that. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, I think we had the team, the offense to score touchdowns, and I think I failed to put our team in position to do that.
I love the kid. I think he's got the stuff. And at this point in time, though, you just throw him on the other pile of quarterbacks that are seemingly unfortunate to be playing in the time of the Mahomes, Kelsey, Reed era. Mm-hmm. That Burrow was able to pop through once and Brady twice. So I'll ask you this, Chris. And you answer this too, TJ. If you can go get Cousins and just tell Purdy you're now the backup, would you do that? Because Purdy's making backup money. You can do it.
Absolutely not.
You can go out and tell Cousins, come to San Francisco, let's win a Super Bowl right now. We'll pay you, 40 whatever, $50 million a year, even though that he now skips the line. You have to take this into account too. It's not fantasy football. He skips the line on a bunch of people that are waiting to get paid in that locker room who have gone the distance and put it all out there, blood, sweat, and tears for this organization. You be telling them, hey, we'll get to you at some point, just not this year, because we had to go give Kirk all his money, and Brock Purdy is easily benched because it doesn't break your cap. It's not like you're benching somebody who's making $20 million a year. Do you do that?
No, I think you got to run it back.
Okay, I do too.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, Brock Purdy, I think, is going to be there for the next decade.
I saw that last night, man. I'm like, not for a second, and I thought, wow. The guy who didn't look great in the rain against Green Bay, and the guy who, with the rest of the offense, struggled in the first half against the Lions and needed to pull it out of his orifice to get to the Super Bowl, he just doesn't have it. The moment's too big for him. I didn't see that at all, man.
Do you think they have Cousins this year instead of Purdy? They win the Super Bowl?
No.
Like what? So Kirk Cousins is in that moment last night, not him? Chris, I don't think it was him.
Chris, you're a big fan of.
I don't think it was him.
Kirk Cousins' flaws during prime time.
I understand,
games.
but Kirk hasn't played, under this Shanahan system. But
it's still a prime time game,
and
right?
with all these,
I did not look at that again. I'm not an all 22 guy. I bet you we'll see more about how good the Chiefs' corners are in the all 22 community over the next 24, 48 hours than Purdy missed it. He missed this throw. He missed that throw. I'd wager on that.
This play in overtime, Brandon Ayuk is so wide open, but Chris Jones is unblocked.
Unblocked?
Like, what are we doing?
95?
What are we doing?
If the Chiefs could have chosen one guy to be unblocked on that do or die play, they'd have chosen 95.
I've watched this play 100 times in the last few minutes. He's so
right. That's not 13's fault. That's not 13's fault. Unless we learn there's some sort of protection he could have called.
Maybe
at the line.
I mean, Ayuk is just standing in the end zone, doing jumping jacks.
I did say at one point, just to be funny, during the game that Juwan Jennings was the best quarterback on the 49ers team, but I was just...
At one point, MVP was literally down to Juwan Jennings and Harrison Butker.
No doubt.
And Jake Moody before Juwan Jennings had caught the touchdown pass.
Yep.
I know. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.